The All-Star Open has officially concluded from North Wilkesboro, and Carson Hocevar pulls off great strategy and wins the All-Star Open. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the 2025 All-Star Open. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So at the start of the race, you had Shane Van Gisbergen lead the field from the inside, another actually on the outside. I believe there was another car good on the outside, and Shane Van Gisbergen got a really strong start and was able to clear for the race lead. And for the first 20 to 30 laps of this race, Shane Van Gisbergen would completely dominate. He would have a really fast car and would lead the first 30 to 40, 50 laps of the event. He would pull out to a near 3 to 4 second lead. You saw some really fantastic and great racing between Ryan Preece and Carson Hocevar for second. You also had other guys jumping up there like Michael McDowell's teammate, who was up there putting on a really good show, and that was a really good bout happening for second position. But then the competition caution would come out at lap number 50 of the event, and everyone would then come down pit road. And a lot of drivers decided to take two tires. Carson Hocevar, who was running second at the time, Bubba Wallace would take two tires as well. I believe the 10 team of Ty Dillon also would take two tires, and Michael McDowell would take two tires. Shane Van Gisbergen's team would decide to go ahead and take four tires, and they would lose a ton of track position, drop from being the leader all the way back to 5th or 6th place. Now, Ryan Preece also would take four tires and be second off there, and I believe Riley Herbst got a penalty for speeding on pit road. And then on the restart, you had Carson Hocevar leading the field from the outside, and he got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. The guys on four tires, though, were really struggling to get up to the pack. It looked like Ryan Preece was going to have a chance and opportunity, and he started charging his way forward and was making up a ton of ground on the outside, and eventually got himself up to second or third position. And then Shane Van Gisbergen, meanwhile, was, of course, falling back to the field. But Bubba Wallace also was doing a really good job to maintain the track position up front. Same with Ty Gibbs, who's also up front. He had stayed out to take two tires as well. He would be able to maintain his track position and stay up front. And then, with around 20 to 25 laps to go in the race, the final caution of the race had come out for an entertainment caution, I would say. Riley Herbst had kind of spun out a little bit going off at turn number 4. There was some contact with someone right behind him. He got up in the outside wall a little bit. He kind of got sideways, and NASCAR would throw the caution. Personally, I get it's the All-Star race, and I get the NASCAR wants all the entertainment they can, but I really don't think that should have personally been a caution. I think they should have kept it green, but I guess we'll let it slide considering it was the All-Star yellow. So during this caution, Carson Hocevar, Bubba Wallace, Ryan Preece, and Ty Gibbs would all stay out while the rest leaders would come down pit road, including AJ Allmendinger, other people like Todd Gillen, Michael McDowell, Eric Jones, and John Henry Nemechek. Those guys would end up staying out. Right before the restart would happen, though, Ryan Preece, who basically was restarting in second position, he unfortunately got a restart violation. There's always been the choose cone for the last 4 or 5 years. Ryan Preece would unfortunately hit that orange box. You got to go to the left or the right. If you hit that orange box, you're going to the rear. He hit it and unfortunately would have to go to the tail end, which is a tough break for Ryan Preece because I think he had a car capable of getting it done over Carson Hocevar. And then we would see the restart with Bubba Wallace moving up to the front row, and Carson Hocevar got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead. But for some reason, the tires were working very well on the restart, and a lot of the guys on the tires, like Eric Jones, like John Henry Nemechek, and a couple of those guys in the middle of the field, like Michael McDowell, they were charging their way up to the front. And Carson Hocevar started scooting out and getting the lead, but the guys on the older tires like Shane Van Gisbergen, Bubba Wallace, and those guys started fading. Meanwhile, Bubba Wallace, at around 10 or 15 laps to go in the race, he would get put in the outside wall by, I believe, was Eric Jones and John Henry Nemechek, and would lose a ton of track position and a ton of ground, and would drop all the way back to the middle of the field. And as the run continued on, it looked like those guys were going to have a chance and opportunity to run them down, but they would run out of time, and coming out the final corner, Carson Hocevar holds off a hard-charging John Henry Nemechek and wins the All-Star Open and advances to the main All-Star race as well. Congratulations to Carson Hocevar on winning the All-Star Open. I thought Hocevar was going to have a chance and opportunity to win. That 77 car looked really good in practice on Friday. That car looked really good tonight as well. He looked really good out front. I think once he got the track position, it was very difficult to pass. Once you have the lead, it was very difficult to get to the leader. But nonetheless, congratulations, Hocevar. The 77 team has had a lot of speed, but they haven't had the results to show for it this year. So it's a big deal for Hocevar. He's earned it. He deserved it. Congrats to the 77 team on advancing to the main All-Star race. The other guys that do advance from the All-Star Open are John Henry Nemechek, who finishes in second. Great job for Nemechek to play the right strategy. Nemechek's team has been having a lot of good runs recently, so I'm not going to discredit. They played good strategy, but they did a really good job to get up there, and they finished in second position. Great job for Nemechek. He also advances to the All-Star race. The driver who got the fan vote surprised me not entirely, but surprised me slightly. Noah Gragson was the winner of the fan vote. Despite the fact that Noah Gragson finished 17th in this race, it is not going to be a factor in the main All-Star event. Noah Gragson does have a lot of fans who support him, and there's nothing wrong with that. But man, Noah Gragson is going to be a non-factor in the race later tonight. But nonetheless, Noah Gragson finished 17th, non-factor all night. He still advances to the main All-Star race because he gets the fan vote for the second or third year in a row. Better start doing better so you don't have to rely on the fan vote going forward, Noah. So now let's take a look at the rest of the race results. So we already talked about Hocevar. Let's move on to third place finisher, Ty Dillon. Great run for Ty Dillon. Ran inside the top 10 most of the day. Ty Dillon showed some really good speed. Was getting better as the run progressed and went on. He finishes inside the top 5. Great run for Ty Dillon in third. Eric Jones finishes fourth. Not enough to make it, unfortunately, the main event, but Eric Jones put himself and made some really aggressive moves to try to get up there and get into the top 2. Still really good run for Eric Jones, but not enough to get there. Struggled early, but they got that car better and played strategy. He finished 4th. Michael McDowell finished 5th, ran top 5 and top 10 most of the night. Didn't have the race-winning speed, but nonetheless, good run for McDowell. He finishes 5th, not enough to get to the main event. Zane Smith finishes 6th. Zane Smith ran top 10 the whole entire run. Showed some decent speed tonight. He finishes 6th, decent speed from the number 38 machine. AJ Allmendinger finishes 7th. He struggled early, but they got the fresh tires and got an opportunity to get inside the top 5. They lost a ton of track position, though, but they do finish in 7th. Bubba Wallace finishes 8th. Solid run for Bubba Wallace. Unfortunately, decided enough to get there. Did not get there with the fan vote. He was in position to get there. Got put into the outside wall by Eric Jones and John Hunter. No opportunity to get in straight up, but Bubba Wallace will not make it to the event. But he does finish 8th. Showed some good speed. I think he'll make the All-Star race because I think he'll win before the end of the year. He will not race in the main event. Cole Custer finishes 9th. Riley Hertz finishes in 10th. Ryan Preece finished 11th. He does recover a little bit after the choose cone violation, but tough break for Preece because he looked really good. One of the best cars out there in the open. Nothing to show for it, though. He's going to have a lot of work to do to try to get those cars better and not violate the choose cone policy. He finished in 11th. Todd Gillen finished 12th. Decent run for Gillen. Had some words of Shane Van Gisbergen after the race, and Todd apparently was not happy with SVG. Speaking of which, Shane Van Gisbergen finished 13th. I want to talk about Shane for a second because this is the best that Shane has definitely looked on an oval. And I get it was because of strategy, but SVG's team was at the beginning perfecting it. He was leading the event, led the first 50 laps of the race. But because of terrible strategy by Steven Duran, unfortunately, they dropped back to the middle of the pack. And once you get in dirty air, it is very difficult to pass. He showed a lot of promise in tonight's race, though, especially early, but tough break for SVG. Just bad strategy calls and just not coming down pro the second time. They probably should have come in and probably should have taken 2 tires because tires seem to matter at the end. But he finishes 13th. Justin Healy finishes 14th. Ty Gibbs finished 15th, lost a ton of ground after losing the track position. Cody Ware finishes 16th. Noah Gragson gets in, like I said, with the fan vote. And Chad Fincham finishes last in 18th. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole and give my score and thoughts on today's All-Star Open. Honestly, the first half of the All-Star Open was honestly all right. There was some definitely good racing behind the leader. I know SVG dominated the early portion of the event, but I think the racing behind SVG, especially for second and third, was really, really entertaining. It is just so difficult to get to that leader because the leader has such a big buffer of clean air in front of him that it's going to be really tough to pass the leader in the race tonight. But I thought the racing behind the leader was really fun. You had some great battles, especially trying to get that transfer spot. I thought the racing there was very entertaining. Guys battling for second, third, fourth, and 5th, like Eric Jones and John Hunter near the end. That was fun, and Bubba Wallace as well. And seeing guys like Ryan Preece charge up to the front. Overall, I think it was a very racy event. I think it will probably be better than the main All-Star race. My score of the Open is going to be overall about probably about an 8 out of 10, honestly. I did actually enjoy the All-Star Open. There was good racing. It's just really difficult to pass, unfortunately, but nonetheless, I did enjoy the event. My score of the All-Star Open is going to be 8 out of 10. It was a very fun event, all things considered. So, that is going to be it for my thoughts on the All-Star Open. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Notifications on so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram and support me on Patreon as well. List description below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Carson Hocevar winning the All-Star Open. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Later tonight on the channel, a couple hours, you're going to see the race review from the All-Star race. And then tomorrow, we're going to have a NASCAR news video. Discuss these over the course of the last couple days. We're going to talk about a lot of people from the race tonight, like Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, who's starting in the back, Kyle Busch, Other people in the field like Chase Elliott, William Byron, Ross Chastain, Carson Hocevar made the field. Haley Dean, Connor Zillich, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Bubba Wallace again. Dodge rumors around that. Honda's rumors of them maybe seeing IndyCar, some Indy 500 drama that happened earlier today. And then we're going to have a lot of other content of people like Cletus McFarland, BJ McLeod, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Eric Almirola, all the good stuff with other people too in the industry will be talking about in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.